Hello, everyone. Welcome to SystemVision's 20-year anniversary virtual training. Thank you for joining us. My name is Lisa Manuel, and I am the Program Manager of Affordable Housing here at Advanced Energy. Affordable housing includes SystemVision new construction, SystemVision existing, and supportive housing. I also manage several other projects here at Advanced Energy. I've been with Advanced Energy for over 20 years, and I've worked on many energy-related projects during that time, as well as various capacities within the SystemVision program. Today, I am happy to serve as your moderator. Before we dive into the training, I would like to cover a few housekeeping items. At any point during the training, if you would like to interact with us, please submit your questions or comments in the chat box by clicking the Show Conversation bubble on the toolbar. Everyone will be on mute during the presentation, but during the last 45 minutes of the training, we will have a question and answer session. At that time, you can use the raise your hand feature. Once recognized, we will unmute you and you can ask your questions, or again, you can enter your questions in the chat box. This training is being recorded and will be shared with everyone that registered. Also, following the training, we will send an email with a survey. Please take a few minutes to complete the survey to help us improve our virtual training events in the future. This is our agenda for today. Today, you will hear from Advanced Energy and our progress over the last 20 years, partnership highlights. You will hear from Mitsubishi on industry updates and receive updates from SystemVision, as well as an open Q&A forum. Here is the current SystemVision team. We will be welcoming a new team member in the next few weeks. You will hear from Michael Matthews in just a few minutes. I want to give you an overview of Advanced Energy. We are a nonprofit energy consulting firm headquartered in Raleigh, North Carolina. We work with electric utilities, government agencies, and a variety of public and private organizations, and the residential, commercial and industrial, solar, motors and drives, and electric transportation markets. Our customized services include research, testing, training, consulting, and program design. I would also like to share an exciting project that we just started, highlighting these two projects that we received funding through the CARES Act by way of the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. The first project is Benefit Supportive Housing Organizations, the Supportive Housing Mechanical System Efficiency Upgrade Program. We collaborated with the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency to identify supportive housing organizations that are in need of HVAC and water heater changeouts, from inefficient and or non-working systems to higher energy efficient systems. The supportive housing organization will receive these systems at no cost to them. The application period ended on April 23rd. And we had 13 applicants requesting over 170 HVAC and water heaters units. Currently, we're reviewing the applications and will make selections shortly. We have a short timeline to identify and coordinate these upgrades. All work will need to be completed by September 2021. Within this project, we will also be providing high-level energy saving information to these organizations. And let me introduce you to Claudia Powell. She is a project manager here at Advanced Energy. She will tell you about the second project. Claudia?
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to tell you about the Cooperative HVAC Incentive Program. I am Claudia Powell, as Lisa said, and I'm a project manager here at Advanced Energy. And since March of 2020, I have also had the pleasure and honor to serve as the account manager for North Carolina Electric Membership Cooperative. I am managing the Cooperative HVAC Incentive Program, by which we are partnering with electric cooperatives in North Carolina to fully fund the installation of high efficiency heating and cooling equipment in low income homes that primarily rely on electric resistance heating. Our goal is to support low income households in reducing their energy costs and improving the comfort by replacing inefficient heating and cooling equipment. To achieve this, we will be replacing up to 50 systems over the course of the program that also sunsets on September 30th this year, just as Lisa mentioned for the supportive housing project. Currently, we are in the program implementation phase and we have received over 43 qualified applicants based on income eligibility. A great majority of the applicants have existing systems that are no longer working as designed or are just inefficient technology to begin with, resulting in energy bills that are between $300 and $600 a month. It's pretty crazy to think about. And through the installation of high efficiency systems, we anticipate the homeowners will save up to 75% on heating and cooling cost. And of course, we'll be monitoring savings over time. So that concludes my remarks, and I'm happy to respond to any questions that come through the chat or during the open Q&A. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Claudia. I did not mention for the supportive, thank you for the reminder that our goal is to replace about 25 units, be it HVAC or the heat pump water heaters. And again, so if you have any questions or comments about either of these projects, you can put your comments in the chat or again, respond during our question and answer session. Next, we have Brian Coble. Brian is the Senior Vice President here at Advanced Energy. I would like to turn it over to Brian to make a few remarks. Hi, Brian, and welcome.
Hey, Lisa. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all well. Good morning. If you get a chance to throw good morning in the chat, that would be great. We'll try to make this as interactive as we can. It's good to see everyone and good to see a lot of faces I haven't seen in a while. I look forward to seeing you in person. I'm going to take just a few minutes this morning to commemorate the program's 20th anniversary and also welcome all of you. I feel very fortunate that almost 20 years ago, I was hired by Advanced Energy to provide field testing and support to the SystemVision Affordable Housing Program. As a side note, I was interviewed by Dan McFarland, and it was a great interview and always knew Advanced Energy was a great fit for me. Today, we're going to be covering our partners, as you know, different technologies, construction details. But I think it's also important to remember that this program was created to serve affordable housing. And I know a lot of you are very familiar with affordable housing, but if you're not, it's essentially a home that a household can pay for while still having money left over for necessary necessities like food, transportation, going to the doctor, etc. And early on, 20 years ago, coming from a construction background, like many of you have, when I began working for Advanced Energy, I was interested in the new technologies, the construction process, and it took me a little while to better understand the importance of affordable housing. And to give you a few examples, at first, I didn't realize how overwhelming the need is. Around 350,000 rentals in North Carolina are occupied by extremely low-income households. Again, that's 350,000. And for perspective, an extremely low-income household is a family of four making less than $25,000 a year. And these are renters that represent only a few of the candidates for the SystemVision homes that you all, many of you are building. I didn't appreciate the value of using volunteers to build homes alongside the future residents, like Habitat for Humanity and other developers do. At first, I thought it was kind of an inefficient process. Now I better understand how important that is for independence, stability, and for developing communities, sense of community. I didn't understand how difficult it can be to find land that can be developed, especially in already established neighborhoods. Many of once you find a lot close to where work takes place, close to jobs, it can take years to get access to sewer, water, whatever it may be to actually develop that lot. I didn't understand that. I didn't appreciate how complex the different financing models can be to get either new development or rehabilitation to take place. And I want to be clear, I appreciate it now. I still don't understand it. It's extremely complicated. And to summarize, at first, I didn't fully appreciate the amount of work that goes into ensuring affordable housing is available. And I'm thankful for the important work our partners do day in and day out to solve this difficult problem, especially in North Carolina. And I'm thrilled that we've been able to play a role in it. On behalf of Advanced Energy, I sincerely thank our partners for 20 years of support for the SystemVision program. I also thank each of you for taking part in today's training. I hope you enjoy it. And with that, I'll hand it back over to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for those words. Next, we will have Michael Matthews. Again, Michael Matthews is our technical lead for affordable housing. He's working in with SystemVision, supportive housing. And so, Michael, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Lisa. I appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and advance the slide here, and then I'm actually going to bounce back to that previous because I don't want everybody to lose sight of what Advanced Energy does. So, before 2020, when I was asked why SystemVision, I had kind of a similar response to Brian. Well, it's so that we can provide an affordable home that a homeowner can budget their expenses. Then 2020 came along and I started rethinking that. And my answers changed a little bit. At my own home, I have a really low electric bill. Duke Energy sends me a graph comparing me to similar homes in my area. And my 27-year-old home is more efficient than the most efficient homes I'm compared to. I'm in kind of a class of my own, honestly. And, when I moved into the home a few years ago, we were hit with Hurricane Matthew. We lost both of our HVAC units and all the ductwork in my crawl space. So because of Duke Energy rebates, we took advantage of being able to get the highest SEER, most energy efficient unit possible. And we also took advantage of Duke Energy rebates to insulate. I also have a myriad of smart lighting, motion sensors all throughout my home. So the reason I'm telling you this is because it leads me to my new answer, why SystemVision? So, when together with the all hands on deck method of building, really you are building a home that does not rely on technology. It doesn't rely on smart sensors and expensive controls. A SystemVision home is built with care and attention to detail that uses the basics that only a human can produce. Working together with your tradespeople, your volunteers, hopefully we'll get those volunteers back sooner than later. I know you miss them because, like Brian said, we didn't see the value on our side until they were gone. The raters who are out there, verifying that everything is done and providing those corrective work orders for you. You're building an analog home. With the exception of a heat pump and the mechanical ventilation, these homes are free of complicated devices. So when I'm asked, why SystemVision? My new answer is because we want to guarantee a safe, healthy, energy efficient, comfortable, and affordable home to all people, and one that will last as long as they live. That's why SystemVision. Now, we asked a lot of you over the last year, last 15 months, if you will, and we're grateful for the flexibility that all of you showed. We were able to improve our processes and identify areas for improvement across our program, some of those internally, some of them externally, and we had the opportunity to take a step back and ask what you needed from us to make your job easier, and some of those changes are still being implemented. We were able to guarantee over 200 homes during one of the most difficult times in our history, and for that, we say thank you. We could not have done any of that without you and all of the partners who support us. After 20 years of SystemVision, one of the themes that became obvious to us this year is partnerships and how much we rely on them. Starting with the funding from NCHFA and product and monetary donations to field support to the boots on the ground, we could not be here without the tireless efforts and financial stewardship they provide. Now, I don't have enough slides or time to highlight all of your partners, but I really would like to know if I missed some, please, send those to me so that we can highlight them. We're putting out a lot of social media this year to celebrate the 20th anniversary of SystemVision, and we'd love to incorporate those partners if possible. Now, we owed a debt of gratitude to those entities, but some of our closest allies are our rater partners. We have a network of energy-minded professionals out in the world every day, making sure homes are built to meet a higher standard. And we lean heavily on the partners, these raters that are out there doing the verification for SystemVision. We also, your HVAC contractors, they've become some of the most important partners as well. We rely on them to learn and grow with our standards, and we ask them to do more than they're accustomed to meet our above code standards. And every day, hats off to them. They're showing up with the heaviest and most important piece of the energy efficiency puzzle. It's that one really complicated piece of machinery that these homes have, and they're doing a great job keeping those ducts sealed, getting them installed properly so that we know that they're running at a proper SEER and HSPF when they're installed. And again, if I've missed any, and I'm sure I have, please feel free to send an email and tell us who your HVAC contractors are so that we can include them in those partnership highlights. And lastly, we rely heavily on our industry partners. They're working hard behind the scenes to provide our industry with the innovations to make our jobs a little easier, and by making sure the products we use are high quality. That being said, I want to introduce a man who has worn many hats at Mitsubishi Electric. For our next presentation, please welcome David Pascal.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for your time. I am David Pascal. Let's get to my slide. Right. There we go. All right. The first thing, I'd like to take a second and just stop right here. And everybody who is on the call should definitely take out a pencil and paper, and copy down this information. One of the most important websites I am going to, or that covers Mitsubishi products, is www.mylinkdrive.com. All of our information can be located there. And then if you had further questions or you needed more attention, you can dial our customer care number at 1-800-433-4822. I'll give you 2 more seconds for that portion there. So today's presentation is going to be focused around residential performance construction. We'll discuss what is and what is not performance construction. We'll look at the industry in terms of regulations, and the state of the market in which we all make our living. So if you guys have any questions, as we've mentioned before, please feel free to raise your digital hand and we'll address those as soon as possible. So my name is David Paschal. I'll be your presenter for this evening, or for this morning, this afternoon. I am the Performance Construction Manager for the Southern Business Unit at Mitsubishi Electric Trane, United States, otherwise known as METIS. Depending on who you ask, I've either been at the company for 10 or 12 years on what started as a 3-day assignment to file away papers. Since that time, I've served as the commercial warranty specialist, tier 1 tech support, customer relations specialist, interim customer care center supervisor, which I trained the inaugural group. And for the last 7 years, I was the area sales manager for Northern California and Northern Nevada. I hold 3 degrees in business management, and at times it seems as if I've attended every course ever offered by Mitsubishi. So let's take a second. Before we can talk about what is high performance, we have to talk about what is not high performance. So when we talk about high performance construction, a distinction must be made between the drivers of energy consumption, ventilation, indoor air quality, and moisture control. Along the timeline, we've moved from building whatever we could build in order to meet the immediate needs of the situation to a more long-term view in which we continue to address today's needs while also considering matters such as longevity, aesthetics, health, efficiency, footprint, and cost, both in short term and long term. So it's quite possible that both of the designs pictured here are of buildings that were at one time considered the talk of the town or the ranch. But on a serious note, I'm sure everybody here can look at these pictures and establish some of the problems that are evident. And that's what Mitsubishi has come here to address. So for 50 years or so, the conversation of safety and health has continued branching off into separate areas of focus and establishing what we in high performance consider as the baseline, the very worst home you can build by law, or what others may know of as building code. Now, science has remained on the forefront of exploration, with building science becoming a field in and of itself, which has spawned and overlapped with several more traditional sciences, such as building physics and applied science. In the 2000s, the sentiment grabbed hold, and we're now in a world of consumers that are aware of their different energy sources. They're concerned with their carbon footprint, and they're researching their building material manufacturers. The climate has changed, both literally and figuratively, and high-performance homes of today are the code-built homes of tomorrow, with the ability to take advantage years in advance. So if you think of any successful business, just in your head, take a second, think of any business. Now think of one more successful business that's as different from that first business as possible. You know what they still have in common? They competently supply a product or a service that is in high demand, either from necessity or desire, or both. With that information, the majority of homes in the United States are not healthy, nor are they energy efficient. Code demands that homes become more healthy and more energy efficient. And then for a number of reasons, national sentiment is moving towards homes becoming more healthy and more efficient. So together, this means that there are products and services in high demand, both from necessity and from desire. So for those on the back end of consumption, which would include remodelers, contractors, manufacturers, some of the areas of concern with the largest gravitational pull are increasing end user satisfaction, finding problem areas that they can address consistently, finding new revenue streams, differentiation, and methods of avoiding seasonality. Moving to a performance construction focus inherently addresses the majority of these issues. In a general example of an HVAC distributor, by embracing high-performance product lines, they open up another revenue stream. The product addressing climate in a more efficient manner increases customer satisfaction. And then this statistic here on this slide of 70% of US homes having inadequate airflow presents a niche market that can easily be attended to in utilization of a high performance solution. When you guys are building these new homes that are going up, you have to take into account that the way we've been building them leaves one room, at the very least, one room too hot or too cold. We can do things about that by the way we manufacture, by the way we build. So the IECC, or the International Building Code, is our 50-yard line. It's our midpoint. We're never satisfied with staying at the midpoint. Energy Star provides a rating system to standardize how much energy a home consumes, with 100 being equal to a new house built to code in 2006. If you look, SystemVision homes usually line up directly above the Energy Star ratings, right above those or in that area. So if you're not considering the order in which you apply them, a complete seal, controlled airflow, correct building materials and techniques, indoor air quality control, climate control, and moisture control can decrease a home's score, symbolizing improvements and bring one to the proverbial goal line. If you add in renewable energy and you reduce energy consumption measures, we move from indoor air plus to zero energy ready. And then we cross the goal line in manufacturing a passive house with a score of 0. So just like the sport of football, going the last few yards is oftentimes more difficult than the 90 yards before it. And also like football, the perseverance and commitment needed to score the perfect passive house makes the reward that much better. So it sounds like a fantasy story, but to know the amount of time and consideration that went into completing a product that was not only financially beneficial to the parties involved, but beneficial to the lives and the well-beings of its users, as well as providing a long-term cost savings, maybe it is a fantasy, but it is an obtainable one that we're seeing occur on a repeated basis. So to facilitate learning and to make sure we're all on the same page, here are a few of the terms that are dominating the performance construction industry. Some we've seen already, some we're just now being introduced to. I'm sure you guys have come across a number of these terms or phrases here, and they're only going to become more and more prevalent as we proceed in time with the way that our entire nation and the energy economy is going. So while Mitsubishi is a manufacturer of building comfort systems, our main focus has always been increasing comfort and efficiency in buildings while steering towards a better future. So to this end, we've established priorities in the performance construction market, where our products and their benefits can assist in moving the builder towards meeting the standards they are reaching for. We address comfort through the ability to allow for individual zone control, approved upon even further by our IC sensor technology, which addresses hot or cold spots in the room without a user ever having to give a command. Additionally, with our quiet operation, there's no need to increase the voice level for conversations or to change rooms during a phone conversation due to noisy HVAC. In regards to health, we focus on the removal or limiting of ducts, offering both ductless and less ducted systems. The majority of our systems triple filter the air at all times, unless you set them to perform otherwise. We do offer a 100% dedicated outside air system for fresh air, and we offer an ERV, or an energy recovery ventilator, in several sizes for commercial applications. Furthermore, humidity is a large focus in much of the country. Our units do remove some moisture from the air, but new buildings should heavily consider how to address moisture removal. In regards to efficiency, inverter technology coupled with mini split design provides on-demand, just-in-time manufacturing of comfort, where heating or cooling is only performed when needed, where needed, to the exact measure needed. So high efficiency mechanicals are critical to delivering a healthy, comfortable, and energy efficient solution. But really, they're following a larger trend where everything is getting smaller and more efficient. I want you guys to think about the changes over the last 30 years to your TVs. Think about the changes to your computers, your servers, your water tanks, and any other number of technology-driven products. The change to smaller, more efficient is evident in the day-to-day progress of our world. It's only in certain areas that we're slow to adapt to the curve based on what we're comfortable with. So where a home built in the 20s or 50s could have up to a wall's worth of infiltration of air, some of the more advanced homes being built today can have less than a baseball size opening of air infiltration. A highly discussed question of today is, can a home be built too tight? Our answer is no. Of course, this demands certain areas such as ventilation and dehumidification are addressed correctly. Continuing the trend of efficiency and comfort, the building trends of today are for smaller, more intelligently utilized spaces, as seen in the modular homes, container homes, and tiny home trends. With a highly controllable environment in terms of moisture, air movement, and heat gains, less energy is needed to obtain and maintain a healthy and comfortable environment. The more unconditioned air that enters into a home, the more energy it'll take to heat or cool that air, remove or account for its moisture, and to filter the particles that have snuck in with it. So again, our answer to can a house be too tight is no. The face of energy efficiency is changing. Every year, the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy releases a scorecard. It rates states based on factors like utility savings programs, building energy codes, state government initiatives related to energy efficiency, and renewable energy portfolio and commercial building benchmarking. Massachusetts has held first place for years, but what's really notable are the changes being made in less expected states, like Missouri, South Dakota, Colorado, and hopefully next year this will say North Carolina. The Paris Accords, or the Paris Agreements, they have been signed and agreed to by every major country in the world. Previously, I would have said except one, but now we can say every major country in the world. They were adopted in 2015, and it's an agreement. This agreement is a commitment by almost all nations to cut their carbon footprint over time. So how is this manifested in our industry? Advanced clean energy is a major push in many of the cities around the world. Retrofits to older buildings, upgrades to newer buildings that save energy through design, appliances, or HVAC systems are all available for rebates in many areas as well. California, all the way on the other side of the country, just announced that 63% of its electric retail sales came from carbon-free, non-fossil fuels. The trend is not just about bringing certain segments of the building market up to speed. The idea is to provide a better future by demanding that all homes and buildings being built to new or retrofit are living up to at least the bare minimum standards that are needed. This includes small single-family homes and extensive, large luxury homes, as well as all buildings in between. Each dwelling type stands to gain its own benefits from adopting to the high-performance building mentality. High-performance builders are leading the industry. The North Atlantic home builder market reported on multifamily and single-family new construction in 2017 showed that 33% of new construction builders were building above code, green, or high-performance homes. 58% of that group were dedicated to only build green. The graph on the right is going to show that almost 30% of multifamily and single-family builders say their clients are willing to pay 5 to 10% more on green upgrades. So it's interesting to consider the social reasons people are choosing to go green. Improved occupant health and well-being rank among number 1. The graphs on the right show the triggers for future green building projects. The US is listed in the red bar. Client demand and healthier buildings rank the highest. Surprise, client demand and healthier buildings rank the highest. So what's our common theme? Clients are demanding healthier buildings. So the trend towards high performance construction has led to several opportunities in the field of comfort. With extremely low loads, we're finding that these smaller homes are able to require less equipment and smaller sizes. Even with the tighter home and lower load, we're finding that it still takes the same energy to remove the humidity in the air, leading to the question of how do we handle dehumidification? In much of the country, the standard DHP, dehumidification, ours is 2.5 to 6 liters per hour, is enough to suffice. But in areas that carry high humidity or areas near the water, other means of dehumidification will be needed. Other questions presented by the current trend in code is how do we handle mechanical ventilation and the load that's brought in with that? So for years, the HVAC industry's mentality has been to oversize systems that are ducted through the entire building so that they'll be prepared for the hottest or coldest 2% of the time. Utilizing non-inverter, single or 2-speed motor systems, which are either off or all the way on. So this meant that 98% of the time, most of the rooms were being supplied with maximum heating or cooling in every room of the building, no matter if it was needed or not. That's wasteful. This leads to high energy waste, high energy bills, quick cycling of systems, which then can lead to varying temperature swings and more maintenance on your compressors. If you add in the inherent problems with forced air and with ducts, it's evident to see why a better way is needed. So one of the things that is necessary on all mini split jobs would be a room by room load calculation, a manual J room by room load calculation. And they're used to decide how much heating or cooling a room needs. With that information in hand, we can install systems in each zone that needs one. Notice I said zone, not room. It's a discussion for another day, but zone, to directly and efficiently address the demands of that area and to be cut off when there is no demand present. With certain lineups, you can connect up to 8 zones to one outdoor unit. These zones will need to be in the same mode, either heating or cooling, but they can have different set points and fan speeds. So small bedrooms and bathrooms, they can be satisfied with draw-through air from mechanical ventilation or ducts from one of our less ducted systems. So for the HVAC or home energy designer, the rules of thumb are gone. Science prevails. I'm sorry, I'm going to take one moment just to see if this is a question. All right. It's not. So science prevails. At Metis or Mitsubishi Electric, we stand behind the sentence that the only way to truly know what a room needs is to perform an ACA manual J room by room load calculation. With that in mind, there's several other manuals available to assist in designing the most efficient and productive home and internal climate systems. So while Manual J determines the amount of heating or cooling a room needs, Manual S uses original equipment manufacturer data to help select certain HVAC equipment. Manual D is used for sizing home HVAC return and supply ductwork. Manual T is for air distribution basics, and it shows how to prevent stagnation of air and drafts through a home or building. and it's used for terminal selection. Then manual DHP and manual LLH are still kind of up in the air. The DHP is for ductless heat pumps. More information is needed on that. And then the manual LLH is for low load homes, and that's being tossed over by ACA right now as well. But the others are wonderful manuals that will save any constructor or any builder time, money, and return trips. Now, exhaust fans have been around for quite some time. They're found primarily in restrooms throughout the United States, as well as laundry rooms, and they're dedicated means to move air from inside a home to the outside. Transfer fans have been around for quite a while also, but only recently have they found a niche in the high-performance home market. These fans are being utilized in walls, doors, above doors, and the likes to distribute air from one central or primary location to secondary locations. Care should be paid to how much air is being moved and the air demands of both the donor room and the room receiving the air. Finally, inline fans are utilized within a ducted system to move air that may have experienced a drop in pressure or very little pressure at all. These fans will be seen on our ceiling mount equipment when utilizing a branch duct or fresh air intake. Mechanical ventilation is different from air distribution, in that this is how air is brought in or out of the building rather than moved throughout the building. Current products that are benefiting the high performance market are the ERVs and the HRVs, with the biggest difference being that an ERV will transfer heat and moisture, while an HRV will only transfer heat. HRVs require a secondary method to control humidity. Exhaust-only ventilation is never suggested, as the pressure used to push air outside has often been found to pull air from areas that could not afford to lose it. So we now know what high performance homes are. They're homes that consume less energy, they're built better than code, and they address any number of other factors. Why there is a push to high performance construction, which was necessity and sentiment. We know when it began, which was near the close of the Vietnam War, and we know where it's occurring, which is globally, nationally, and locally. So while you should have some idea now of how, let's specifically look at how to get involved. For those involved in the pre-consumption stages, involvement in high-performance construction begins with an integrated design process in which the winning team is assembled and work together to ensure cohesion between interlocking systems of the home. This ties back to the slide that Michael was showing us preliminary or at the beginning of this presentation, your partners. That is the second most important part of a Mitsubishi installation, and I would say of any mini split installation. First part, Manual J. The second part is your partnerships. Architects, structural engineers, energy modelers, and builders should work together in the design, specifying highly efficient materials and appliances along the way. A house that has been built to perform but did not consider Energy Star appliances or matters such as window orientation will have a very difficult time reaching the end zone of that net zero home or passive house. New home construction should be as tight as possible with controlled moisture, ventilation, and climate control, while also incorporating renewable energy sources whenever possible. Landscaping can be used to prevent direct radiation and minimize solar gains. For those involved in the post-consumption stages, which I know a lot of us are not, there are a number of ways you can tie in with your partners here to help make homes better. So that's all I'll say about that part. But when you're building, moving ducts inside your conditioned space, just moving your ducts inside your conditioned space can usually equal about 10-point deduction on your Energy Star rating. So some of the segments that are driving new construction high performance market include tiny homes, as represented by Mustard Seed Tiny Homes here in Georgia, where I'm at. They focus on maximizing the living space of smaller areas and doing more with much less. Some homes are close to 600 square feet in total. Production homes of normal size and shape that are being built above code, such as those seen by PSW Homes in Austin, Texas. And then you have high performance homes that are moving towards passive house or net zero energy in their design. Habitat for Humanity, which is a large partner across the nation, is driving high performance construction within budget for affordable housing. Luxury homes have always been built above code in general, but with the push for greener living, we're seeing the inclusion of higher caliber HVAC, such as ours, more and more. Extended line sets, quiet sound, a differentiated product, and high efficiency are the drivers in these homes. And then finally, modular homes that are assembled off-site and dropped in place are being built to higher specs than ever before. And they allow for positioning and orientation at a higher level than previously sought after. What you'll see here also is that HFH Homes is right there with you. Catawba HFH is right there in Hickory. And they are making this move. They are already bought in. We have companies across the nation that are moving the needle already. So if you're not into high performance home construction already, you're falling a little behind. But don't worry about it. I'm here. SystemVision is here. We'll get you up to speed. So the key points from today's presentation so far are that variable capacity heat pumps can be right for almost any type of project. They simplify getting your systems into the building envelope. They can save you space, money, and energy, and we can improve your indoor air quality by reducing your ductwork. Some examples here of products, and what we're going to do is I'm going to actually spend the next some time now discussing our actual products and showing you guys how to maneuver through our product lineup and find all of the information you need. But just some examples, you'll see our 2x2 ceiling recessed unit over here to the left. That's an in-ceiling system, goes between your, we have a one-way that can go between your floor joists or truss. This one here is 2x2, and then there is a 3x3 also. We'll discuss that in depth here. So thank you for that part. Now I'd like to introduce myself again. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And now everybody should be looking at what we call mylinkdrive.com. This is the website I gave you guys at the very beginning of my presentation, and we are going to walk through here for a moment or two. So when you first come here, I know everybody is going to be compelled to go to the Caribbean and Latin America because we all want to be in the Caribbean and Latin America. But our products here in the United States use different hertz, different power requirements. They have different limits they have to go by. So if you're in America and you're looking up American products, please go to USA Products over here on the left. When you do this, you will see a line of cookies up here at the top. I'm not going to read them all out to you. That is not necessary. I want to point out a few things to you though. M series is our residential line. This is our residential line, M series. P series is residential and light commercial. P series, again, is residential and light commercial. And then R2, S series, and Y series are our city multi-systems. And then over here, you're going to see our ventilation systems when we click on that as well. So you'll have our controls and our accessories. This place here, software, is a very important portion for anybody who considers themselves a designer. If you are a designer, if you are laying out homes, if you are dealing with sensible and latent loads, you should go to the software portion and you should download Diamond System Builder, DSB, Diamond System Builder. It's free of charge. I have had some issues with it on iPads or on the MacBooks. So if you're on a PC, you should have no issues at all. On a MacBook, if you do have a problem, I'm probably not the best person to complain to, but you can call customer care and they would help you out if possible. All right, so let's start here and let's go to M series. All right, so when you go to M Series, what you're going to see first is our R410A systems, the current refrigerant lineup. And unfortunately, this will probably be being supplanted soon. But for now, this is our current refrigerant. And these are all of our current products that utilize that refrigerant. On older homes, it would be down here, but we are new construction. So we will be up here looking at new products. If you were looking for an outdoor unit or a branch box, you would go there. You'll see that our unit styles are listed here: wall mount, horizontal ducted, floor mount, ceiling cassette, multi-position, and our one-way ceiling cassette. Let's jump in here and look at our wall mounts. So I would love to be able to tell you that the current wall mount is always at the top. The first three will be our new ones. Sometimes. I can't promise you that though. In this case, you are looking at the most modern, the newest products. This FS was just developed, as you can see, production 2021. The very cool part about this FS is that it has a dual vane right here, which will allow you to get a cyclical airflow moving through your room. It has a 3D IC sensor on it, which will take sensory, I forget the word's just escaping me, but it takes a sensory photo shoot of the room, infrared, there we go. It takes an infrared sight of the room at 3 different levels, stratospheres. So it actually will not change the heat and cool for your pets. Our first one did actually. If your pet came in the room and they were running hot, the system would come on. We no longer address for the pets. So if you are a pet lover, we can talk offline about that. But it will look around the room and that IC sensor will see where the people are located and how many people are located. It will then take its vanes, move them left or right as needed, up or down as needed, and it will modulate its refrigerant flow, its fan speed and its refrigerant flow to just address what's necessary. A very cool thing about the IC sensor is that as people start to leave also, if you have our wall mounted PAR 32 controller, that unit can sense that people are leaving the room and it will step down, saving you even more energy. And it has a no occupancy sensor, meaning this room is empty. I'm cutting off to save you the most energy. The FS, while we're talking about these, so over here, this EF unit is our designer model. They come in black, silver, and off-white, as you can see. They are a more squared model. Now, the very first question I'm always presented with is, do they have to only be black, silver, or off-white? Can I do other colors? And what I'm going to tell you is, you can have these units painted with auto paint. You can have them wrapped at a sign shop. I have no idea why, but I went to a customer's house and he had one wrapped in Green Bay Packers. It color code. Okay, that's enough. I don't know if I have any Packers fans on here, so I won't go too heavily into that portion. But yes, you can have them wrapped. You can have them painted, whichever color you need. I've also had customers take a swatch from their wall or a scratch of their drywall and take that to the car dealer and have them match that paint as close as they could. So when you put the system up, and all you're getting painted is just the shell of these wall mounts, not the unit. You're not going to dip anything, but just the shell. As they painted that, it came out very close to the wall mount. Now, another thing about these wall mounts is that they're going to be installed 8 feet on your wall or above. Nobody walks around their house looking up at the ceiling 8, 10 feet. We call that out of your line of sight. So for your first week, 2 weeks of having a new product in your house, it's going to draw your attention. After that, these fade into the background. While we're talking about this, you will see 96% of Asia, 85% of Europe is already heated and cooled this way. It's only in America where our energy costs have been tremendously low for so many years that we've been able to go the other way and just heat and cool every room, even though we're only in 2.5 rooms out of the average house that has 7 rooms. Again, the average house in America has 7 rooms. We're in 2.5 of them, the bedroom, the kitchen, and whatever your half room is there. And you're heating and cooling 4.5 rooms at maximum capacity for absolutely no reason. This is a better way to go about that. So we talked about the FS, which is our deluxe model right now. We did talk about the EF, which is our designer model. Over here, you'll see our MSZ GL heat pump. This is our standard model, our standard single pump, single zone. You can also get it on multi-zone. While I'm here, let's go ahead and click on one of these. We're going to click on the smallest just to show you guys what you're looking at. So here, all of these red buttons, all they're going to do is take you down the page to that portion. You can either click the button to jump there, or you can slide down. Since this is our first time visiting, we're going to look all around the house. So what you'll see first is accessories. These are the most often utilized accessories for this system. By no means is this every accessory that's for this system. You'll see replacement filters up here. You're going to see condensate pumps up here. This is a 3-pole switch. I'll take a second to talk about that. If you are installing in a new construction home, you may have some requirement that says you need a cutoff switch for your indoor unit. I don't see it often, but I have seen it where an indoor unit needs a fire cutoff or for whatever reason, an emergency shutoff. If you utilize a 2-pole emergency shutoff, you will call me and say, what went wrong? Something went wrong. You must utilize a 3-pole disconnect if you ever plan on disconnecting our indoor. And that is for our S1, S2, and S3. If you only cut S1 or you only cut S3, you're going to have problems down the line. And that goes for your installation also. When you're doing splices, we do not like to see splices. We want straight runs on there. I won't spend too much time. This is not an installation class. Here you will see our compatibility charts. They will tell you what systems go with which, all of our current controls that are available. The MHK2 is our mainstay controller right now. It just replaced the MHK1. This MHK2 is a wall-mounted controller, which will also give you the option to attach our Kumo Cloud, which is not pictured here. It's this, but that doesn't show you much. That Kumo Cloud now allows you to control your system via cell phone, or via laptop or tablet. You can do both, and you'll have this on the wall for whoever's there in the house. We have a customer just built a house across the street, and he needed the wall mount for his mother-in-law suite, but he also wanted the digital new current stuff, which is the Kumo Cloud. So he can control everything while he's away. Further down, you'll see our engineering guides, installation manuals, marketing guides, operations manual, how to operate your system. If you've installed one, that's a great thing to leave with an end user. Parts manuals, which you should hopefully never utilize, or once every 7 years maybe. Service manuals, the same thing. And then down here at the very bottom, for all of my guys that are going to be doing designs, I get calls all the time. Hey, Dave, can I get the submittal for this? Can I get the submittal for this? Yes, you can. But I'll tell you how you can do it without ever having to call me. Not that I don't want to hear from you. I love hearing from you guys. Call me as much as you need to. But if you're just looking for a submittal, you don't need me for that. Our submittals are listed here. They have our full spec sheet on there, seer levels, sound pressures, anything you can think of, including your accessories that you're going to utilize for that system as well. So now let's back up out of there and let's get back here. So then the MSZ-D is the largest of our wall-mounted heat pumps. These 4 are our primary wall mount lineup. There are other options. We have cooling only. We have the 115 volt for the people who would like to plug in. We have budget models and so forth. But our primary model lineup, as I was hoping and as we all hope, is listed at the top, and you'll see your production levels. So that's our wall mounts. Let's back away from our wall mounts and let's jump to our horizontal ducting. Now, there's 3 different types of ducted models. This is only one of them. I know you looked across there and you were like, these look all the same. These are all one, the SEZ. And this is our current model SEZ over here to the left. So these 4. The SEZ is a very short run ducted model, a very short run. It has an external static pressure of 0.2. For anybody who knows what external static pressure is, they know that is not a lot. External static pressure of 0.2 is not a lot. I like to utilize the SEZ for 1 room and a bathroom, maybe 2 big rooms at best. Not big rooms, 2 medium-sized rooms at best. A duct calculator should be utilized to make sure you're getting the airflow, the CFM, and the external static pressure that you need. I told you there are 3 types of horizontal ducted. So I'm going to jump. We'll come back, but I'm going to jump over to my P series now, just to show you something. This is a PEA. PEA over here, PEAD over here. These are both current models. The PEAD, if you went to purchase one right now, is most likely what you would get on our P series horizontal ducted side. Now, I told you the SEZ had 0.2 external static pressure. The PEAD has a 0.6 external static pressure. This is a zone system. I will deal with an entire zone with this system. Depending on what your zone is, so I don't want to limit what your zone is or put it in a box because every home is different, obviously. But yesterday I was designing on a house where the entire left side of the house was able to be zoned, and then the office section / living room was zoned. So each one had their own PEAD attached to one outdoor unit. If you do that, if you attach multiple indoor units to one outdoor unit, the main thing you lose on that is the ability to heat one area while cooling the other. If that wasn't a requirement of yours, then you are perfect, because you can still change the set point. You can have zone A at a 70-degree heat to 70, and then you can have zone B heat to 76 for some ungodly reason, right? If that's how you like it. So those give you that option. But if you're using a multi-zone, you do not have auto. And if you're using a multi-zone, you do not have simultaneous heating and cooling. And this is because in your outdoor unit, there is a reversing valve. If you say heating, whichever unit calls first, heating, it's going to lock into heating mode. It cannot also do cooling at the same time. I won't spend a lot of time on that. I think you guys understand the concept. That's a different class. But so we were looking at our SEZs here. Now, all of our ducted models come with what you'll see here. You can see it here kind of. You have manual condensate, meaning drain, or there is a place for a lift pump. These units come with a lift pump in them. You do not have to utilize the lift pump if you are using gravity. We'd always prefer gravity. Gravity rarely, if ever, fails. Our lift pumps rarely, if ever, fail as well, but they're going to fail a little more than gravity just because that's the way it goes, right? So you have lift pumps in there. You have HEPA filter, or more heavier filters can be utilized in there. I don't believe the HEPA on this one. I believe the HEPA is saved for our PEADs, but on this one you do have higher micron filters available to be attached on. And let's go ahead and go to one just so you can see all of the alternatives that are available for this one. And again, I told you, this is not all of the accessories that are available. This is some of the accessories that are available. And you'll see the rest of the page is going to be just like the last, so I won't spend time ducking up and down the page on that. That's our SEZ. The last ducted unit that we can talk about is our multi-position air handler. This is the current model, the SVZ. It's a little more compact than this MVZ. It can be taken apart into 2 pieces. It can be, if for whatever reason any of you are still designing dumb waiters, this, I'm being told, can fit into a dumb waiter. I have no idea why any of you would be making dumb waiters, but if you did make a dumb waiter, this can go into the dumb waiter to get to the next floor. It can easily be pushed through an attic opening, though, or drop down into a crawl space. And I have seen the best application for this I've seen was a completely sealed crawl space, conditioned area, crawl space that had this installed hanging from the crawl space, but it was in there so beautifully. And it maintained that house exceptionally at a very low energy cost. You'll see in the middle of our lineup here, when you're seeing these sizes, you'll see SVZ, KP 12, all the way up to 36. These numbers are our BTU capacity. So this is a 1-ton, a 12,000 BTU capacity right here. And the external static pressure on our multi-positions is 0.8. 0.8. That is a whole new ball game. In 0.8, you can pretty much take care of a block load. So I've seen a lot of times where they'll have a SVZ or a MVZ taking care of the entire downstairs while having wall mounts for the bedrooms upstairs. all attached to 1 or 2 outdoor units. Now, if we're doing it upstairs and downstairs, let's be clear right now. Because of stratification, I'm almost always going to tell you to put those on separate outdoor units. If we're doing a large luxury home where half of it is east facing and half is west, I'm almost always going to tell you to put those sides on separate outdoor units because the temperature difference requirements are going to be so huge there. The good thing about our SVZ is it can be horizontal left to blow out of the left. It can be horizontal right to blow out of the right, or upflow straight from the factory. There's also a downflow kit if needed. The filter part comes in right here. Your blower is in the middle section and your coil is up top. Another really cool part about this multi-position air handler, as everybody on the call should have realized by now, Mitsubishi is a Japanese company by heritage, Konnichiwa. But this multi-position air handler is not a Japanese product. We have an American engineering center in our Swanee location here in Georgia. And this multi-position air handler was one of the first products to come out of that engineering center, designed specifically for the American marketplace. There is another product that came out of there, and that is this, our one-way sealing cassette right here. I am approaching my time, but I think we can get through this. Our one-way sealing cassette, or what we call the Easy Fit, is another product that was designed specifically for the American marketplace. Before I can give you the benefit here, let's do this. If you'll look at this SEZ right here, SLZ, I'm sorry, on this SLZ right here, this is a 2x2, fits perfect in a grid ceiling. But because it's small, we were not able to put our electronics on the inside of this. So over here on the side that we did not show you, there is an electronics box. You have to have access, an access panel, attic access, something like that, some way to get to that electronics panel on the side. So this means you have an access door on your grid, or if you have a grid, you don't need an access door. But if you had a drywall ceiling or hard ceiling, you need a grid access panel there. Now, if we step up to our 4x4 version of this, let me go over there. And that's this one here, the PLA. On our 4x4 version of this system, it was large enough for us to put all of the internal workings internally into that squirrel cage. So if you wanted to work on this system, you would have a clip right here and a clip right here. You'd pop those clips. That grill will open up for you. Watch how it swings down. And then all of the electronics are in there. So this unit is fully serviceable from below. But it's a 3x3. So I don't see a lot of these PLAs installed in residences. I've seen them in custom homes. I've seen them in large luxury homes, but you will not see these installed in the standard installation or new construction home. That'll be our 2x2. You'll see 2 knockouts right here. On the larger unit, you can do a fresh air. You can bring fresh air in, and you can bring a branch duct out. So on our PLA, fresh air in, branch duct out. But back on that 2x2, you can only do fresh air in. On the 2x2, you can only do fresh air in. So that's a big difference right there, right? Now, let's jump right back to our, we were at the one way. So the cool part about this MLZ here, and I really wish I could open up this panel for you on here to show you, but this is fully serviceable from below. It fits in between your truss or your floor joist, whichever you're dealing with here. If you're on a single story or a 2-story, right? It'll fit in between there, nice and snug. It's fully serviceable from below, so you don't need an access panel, access through the attic, or anything like that. You do utilize fresh. You do lose the option for fresh air or branch duct. You can't do either of those off of this. But this is a wonderful product designed specifically for the American marketplace. And then, so we talked about our wall mounts, our horizontal ducted, our sealing cassettes, our multi-position air handler, and our one-way sealing cassette. The last of our standard product lineup to discuss is our floor mounted, which is a very communicated thing. It's not actually on the floor. It's above your baseboard. So it needs about 4 to 6 inches off the ground there. This unit will blow out the top, and it's going to blow out of this horizontal line here in the front face. So you're going to get forward blow, and then you're going to get an umbrella throw. An umbrella throw. That's exactly how we utilize it, where it's going to blow that air up, the cold air up, and hope it circulates while the hot air is being thrown straight, circulating that way. Down here at the bottom is your return. Now, we don't have a lot of these KAs left. There may be some left, but for whatever reason, I'm going to give you a specific situation, and if that's something you would like to utilize, we can look and see if we have one. But these KAs actually had the option to blow out of the top or blow out of the bottom, and this whole middle section is your return. So if you wanted to just blanket, I see these in daycare centers where the kids are sitting on the ground. I've had a lot of these installed there. Nurseries, daycare centers, anything like that that just had, they want to blanket the ground with heat. Now, one more thing about this MFZ here is we have now built, let's see if they put it on the accessories for me, just to help out. Of course, they, kind of. So we have built, that's not it 100%, that's a floor mount air guide, but we have built now, we have an accessory that will allow you to fully submerge this into your wall. So if you build a cavity into the wall that you're establishing, this can be almost fully set back into there, and it has air outlet guides to let the air still get out and in as necessary. So it's a great product there for you. It's single zone and multi-zone. All right, so we talked about all of our M series products. Our P series products are pretty much the commercial or a larger version of this. They sacrifice a little bit of efficiency for power. You're going to get more out of them. They're workhorses. If you're building a house that's going to have a computer room or a server room in there, you're going to want to go P series 1-to-1 in there, because they will not cut off just based on low ambient heating, which is what you're going to get low ambient cooling, which is what you're going to have in server rooms a lot of times. So I won't go into everything there. Couple things here I want to talk about last is app notes. Take some time and spend it here on app notes. If you've already been utilizing our products and you did a lot of work with them, you're probably familiar with this site. If not, there's some powerful information in here for you on your wiring diagrams. How do you wire these? How do you correctly, you know what? All of your condensate pumps are going to come with generic information. That's not the best way to install them for us. Come here and we tell you the best way to install them for us on the SI30 wiring diagram. You have high altitude applications, no simultaneous heating and cooling. I just told you guys about this. And if you can't remember what Dave said, you say, hey, Dave said something about I can't heat and cool the same time if I got one outdoor unit. Come right here and it explains it to you. So this is a great, this TAS M3 MS303, that's the 3-pole disconnect. It explains why you have to have that here. So this is powerful information. I told you guys earlier about going to software in order to get your Diamond System Builder. This is where you would download that right here. Away from that, all of our literature is on here. Tech tips are on here. You can watch videos from us. Now, these are our commercial products I'm not going to spend time with. The last thing I do want to spend time with, though, ventilation. Now, this whole presentation has been designed, the majority of this presentation has been designed around new construction residential. New construction residential. In the new construction residential application, this is the only product as far as energy recovery ventilators go. This is the product that we make that I've seen utilized in residences. It was not by any means in a small or medium residence. This was a luxury home. It was large. I believe it was probably right around 2,400 square feet, maybe a little larger than that. I can't recall. That's a few years now. But this is a Losnate energy recovery ventilator. And what I'm going to do, let's see if I can. Let's do this. We'll open up an install manual and we're going to show you guys. I wanted to try and get a blown out version of the interior here, but it's not really going to do us the best. This, I guess, would be a better one. Let's see. All right. So this is a very generic picture, and I'm sorry I don't have a better picture for you guys here. But what you're kind of looking at here is there are two filters in here that lay crossways of each other. There's two filters in there that lay crossways of each other. So as air comes in, particles are being caught on one, humidity and particles, humidity and heat is being caught and sent. If you're expelling heat right now, the heat from outside is being caught and sent right back out, expelled back out. If you're trying to bring in your heat, then it's allowed to cross over while the cool air is being expelled out through there. These ERVs are a great way to bring in fresh air and to begin to condition that air depending on where you are. Now, I told you guys earlier in this presentation, humidity, dehumidification is a large thing that we need to address. In North Carolina, you guys have a couple of different climates all wrapped in one. So you're the only one who's going to know. When you go to Diamond System Builder, and I'm going to open up my Diamond System Builder for you here and try not to show anything top secret. But when you go to Diamond System Builder, there is a very, very cool portion that's built into Diamond System Builder that each one of you should be able to utilize, capitalize, and get the most from. So I'm opening up my Diamond System Builder. It actually is taking a second longer. Let's go home. Let's just, let's do a new project just to show. So I'm in a new project, and it's going to be a design build because no engineer was involved for me.
David,
And
it's still on the website.
Oh,
Just
okay.
have to reshare that screen.
I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing that up here. So I'll stop sharing that. Diamond System Builder. Okay, so Diamond System Builder is saying I can't show it to you. All right, well, it does not look as if I'll be able to show you Diamond System Builder. I so wanted to. But when you guys go to Diamond System Builder, just in general, know this, and I can be done with that part of my presentation. When you go to Diamond System Builder, what I want you guys to know is when you go over to your preferences, it's going to be called it's called Design Conditions. And this is when you're starting a new one. It'll say Design Conditions, and then there's a place for you to put in your location. So you don't actually have to know your design conditions. You put in your location. I'm in North Carolina, and then it says Asheville, Cape Hatteras, Charlotte, Durham, Elizabeth City. So Raleigh, Wilmington, Winston-Salem. You put that in, and that's going to put in your design conditions, which is then in turn going to show you your sensible loads. What are you really getting out of the systems that you're applying to this? So I know I talked a lot. I know I'm long-winded and I can go for hours and hours and hours, guys. I'd like to take a break. Let me look here and see what kind of questions we have. I do see a question from Aaron. If you guys have any other questions for me, now would be a great time to go ahead and type them in, and I'll start seeing if I can address them as I go before I'm kicked off of this and somebody takes control back from. So Aaron says, hey, David, which room areas in a home do you typically see the ceiling cassette installed in, and where in a room should it be positioned? Great question. Ceiling cassette. So again, we talked about two different types of ceiling cassettes. We had the 4-way ceiling cassette, and then we had the 1-way ceiling cassette. They are both very quiet. The PLA, the 3x3, the larger one, it makes more sound. So I would never put the PLA in a bedroom. I see the PLA in large living rooms. I see the PLA in family rooms and theater rooms because it's going to blow in all 4 directions. Or you can slim it down to only blow in 2 directions, and that'll be with increased airflow out of those two ways, right? The 2x2, the SLZ one, the 2x2 and the 1 direction, both of those I've seen in bedrooms. The one-way blow, I would put that usually back by the door or the wall and have it blow forward, right? Because that way it can still penetrate the room. You never put that in the center of the room because anything behind it is negated and left out. That's on the 1-way blow. if we're clear there. And then the last one was the 2x2 4-way. I've seen those in bedrooms, and still I wouldn't put it directly over the bed. I'd never put anything directly over the bed. Even with wall mounts, I wouldn't put it directly over the bed. And anybody who sleeps that's on this call should understand that, right? Because when it's time for bed, the ambient noise is now down to 5 to 10 decibels in your room. All you have left in your room usually at bedtime is just the electronic hum of whatever you had plugged in, and that should usually be it. If that's all you have going on, then whatever sound an indoor unit makes is going to be a little more than what you need, right? So if you put it away from the bed, that distance negates decibels. So that's how I would go with that. And I hope that answered your question. If it did not, please feel free to reach out again. Let me know. Tim Pierce says, will I send a copy of the links for these? A copy of the links for these. I wonder if you're asking me about mylinkdrive.com, Tim, because if you write down mylinkdrive.com, mylinkdrive.com, all of our products are in there, unless you were asking about the link for the presentations, and then I think that's a SystemVision question. I have another question, says, does the 2x2 with intake only create positive pressure on the home? No, it does not, actually. So the 2x2 with the fresh air intake has absolutely no pressure. You will actually need, and I showed it on here, you would need an inline fan to get any sort of velocity through there. So it does not create a positive pressure at all. That was part of why we left it like that. Now you can get your 12 volts for your inline fan. You can get that 12 volts off of our indoor board. I didn't do it like a generic overview, but just so everybody knows here, you would power the outdoor units from your breaker, and then the outdoor units have 3 wires going to the indoor units. And so the indoor units are powered from the outdoor. Just I don't know why that popped in my head to say that, but there we go. All right, so I don't see any other questions right now. I have a few more seconds for questions if anybody else has some more questions. And if not, then I would very much like to thank SystemVision for having us at their 20th anniversary. We are so proud of you guys. We love the work you're doing. We love the way you're driving the industry out here, and we want to continue to be a powerful partner of yours in the future. And then I'd like to thank all of the attendees that stopped by and listened to my weird voice for all these hours. I hope I didn't stress anybody out or put anybody to sleep. If there's any more questions, anything, please, guys, don't hesitate to reach out to me, okay? I'm David Paschal, your Performance Construction Manager with Mitsubishi Electric. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, David. That was very informative. It opened up the door for additional questions from me, so anticipate that in our upcoming conversations. I got a lot more than just that positive pressure question. But I do want to bring up the previous. You'll just give me a second. I'll bring up the previous slides and pick up where we left off with some additional SystemVision updates, some rehashing where we were at the end of last year, and then let's see, just a second, try to get my slides in line here. All right. So yeah, I'll start here again. I just again want to thank all of our industry partners. It's very apparent that we lean heavily on them. They lean heavily on us too. Don't discount that. They rely on us to be out here building these homes, improving our processes, and bringing these new methods. And we're actually I think we're the true guinea pigs. We're the ones who are putting these systems into place trying them out and seeing if they actually work in the way that they anticipate them. So, they lean on us as heavily as we lean on them. So I do want to point out that, we had some updates to our website. I mentioned that we took a step back. We added some things to our checklist based on some interviews that we had with a handful of supers. We unfortunately didn't have time to pull everybody off and ask them the questions, but some of what we were able to glean from those conversations is that, when this original checklist item was abbreviated heavily. It asked to make sure you seal all your MEPs, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing penetrations. So after some conversation with some supers, we realized that maybe it is a good idea to bullet those points out so that, when you're walking through and you're looking for that last check, to make sure that you are looking at plumbing, your water lines, your drain pipes, your electrical, audio, video, if you've had some of those put in, your alarm systems, your gas lines, mechanical, water supply lines, any of those things that are basically that final checklist, and if you have had some issues at final with passing your blower door, this might be that final check that you need to put put through the filter, make sure that you're getting all of these things. Air is small, it's tiny, it's gonna find its way through any of these cracks. So, as part of our support with SystemVision, we want to put everything in your hands that allows you to be successful before I get there. So if we can help you have something on site while you're wrapping that house up and getting it complete and ready for my testing or the Raiders testing, then, utilize this and see if that helps you, start passing those houses on that first visit. An additional item that we added, it's highlighted here, it's the SystemVision digital manual. And, the reason behind, the intent behind that is when your volunteers come back, if you're able to print it out, laminate it, and have it on that volunteer table right next to the water and snacks, under that nice tent where they're taking a break, it gives them an opportunity to take a minute and flip through it. And it's a visual manual that also has a key within that it explains that, how each item, it's coded at the top where it's a money saving thing, it's a safety item, it's a durability item, it's a comfort item. So when some of your sweat equity folks are out there working on that house before they move into it, and they're bored because you've got them sealing up these boring holes where electrical is coming through, or you got them caulking a stud pack, and they see everybody else outside lifting trusses and up on the roof and hammering nails or siding, and they want to do that fun thing because that they feel like that makes the impact. You can actually grab this on site with them and flip through and say, look, this is what you're doing, this is an important step, and it's going to impact you in all of these ways. So the version that you can print out and have, it's a great resource, as the super, as the builder. If you have a question, if there's something that is causing you to stumble at your framing inspections, your insulation inspections, this could provide the visual that can help you get over that roadblock to the next level. And also, when you're looking at it on the digital version, when you're on those pictures, we've got links that go directly to additional resources and details through Build America. And if you're questioning, when you're looking at that picture, what is the purpose of this? Across the top are those orange key items, in the legend, and it will actually bounce you back to the description of the legend, which is, essentially that description of this right here. It's going to show you homeowner savings, durability, health and safety, comfort. So that was the intent of that. Use it, print it out. If you have the opportunity to laminate it, like I said, throw it down on that table when you start getting those volunteers. If you've got a weekend volunteer or a long-term volunteer or one of the old timers who's been volunteering for 25 years and has their own ideas about the way to do things, you can put this in their hands and say, yeah, you're doing it right. Here's a way to do it a little bit better. And just provide them that resource. So that was our intent behind that. And as another reminder, we are still seeing plans come in, which is great. Let's see. Yeah, so that I don't know who asked that question there, but it is available on our website under the tools, under the SystemVision website under tools. I've got it highlighted here. If you get an opportunity, you can access it directly from there. But as a reminder, in addition, here there are the processes for how to submit our plans. If you've got new plans, please always submit those to us in plenty of time for us to review them. And we've actually started sending out what I'm calling just a simple pre-construction document, where I go through the plan and the proof that you send in and make sure that everything is lining up with what we need. And I'm also including in that, just as simple reminders, if you've got a bathtub or a shower stall on the exterior wall, I want to highlight and remind you to order T-ply for that, so that it doesn't, I don't get there for that framing and insulation inspection and we're all slapping our heads saying, oh yeah, of course, we forgot about that. We'll get that T-ply, I'll run to the store and grab it. So it's just kind of a pre-construction document. If you get a chance when I send it back to look over it, I'm going to try to put, if I'm doing the load for you, I'm going to try to put in there your HVAC sizing recommendations. And then, like I said, any other kind of outlying things that may be a good idea to put into your ordering process ahead of time. But yeah, just want to make sure that you can source those materials as quick as possible. I know prices are skyrocketing right now, so don't want you to have to scramble and find those last minute. And again, I want to highlight that our partnerships, as we move forward and continue to work together, I hope that we can improve on all these partnerships, that we formed and spread those partnerships throughout the construction industry. Over 20 years, we have done a great job of finding, creating, and honing these partnerships. And there's a couple methods we've used that were just kind of natural. We have good conversations with people, we reach back out, we ask them questions, they call us and ask us questions. So there's kind of a two-way street there. But if I can give a little tidbit of advice, and this may or may not make an impact on your suppliers, but if you're able to group up with other affiliates and ask for bulk discounts, some of you are out there building 2-3 houses a year. If you're a county over from somebody who's building 60 houses a year, perhaps you can share some warehouse space and pre-order some of those items and in bulk if you're using the same items. And there's also get quotes, get competitive quotes. Ask your suppliers if they've got any opportunities for, any other products that are same or similar that have been discounted because they're being discontinued. Let them know what you're doing as well. Tell them why you're building SystemVision homes and why you're building above code. And it never helps to tell your story of the why that you're doing what you're doing for affordable housing. But one of the main things for me, I can't wait to see what happens in the next 20 years of SystemVision. But I do want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank David Paschal. I'm always really good at getting somebody's name wrong in the first and then fixing it at the end. So David Paschal, I do appreciate your insight and knowledge, information on that next level of HVAC and above code homes. And I definitely learned a lot. I hope all of you did as well. I'm sure David would love to hear additional questions, and we will share the presentation. We've recorded it, and it's got some of his information with links so that, and I'll make sure and get his email address, and we'll also get Andrew Fletcher. He's our local Mitsubishi guy that unfortunately we were having some technical difficulties bringing him on today, but we have some good resources there, and I'll make sure and share those email addresses for you if you have additional questions. But on behalf of Advanced Energy and the SystemVision program, I want to thank you all for the hard work you do to make SystemVision a success. I'm going to kick it back over to Lisa now.
Thank you, Michael. Let's see here. So at this time, we will kick off any additional questions. This will be our question and answer forum. So if you have any questions, if you're interested in vocalizing and speaking and saying your questions, you can raise your hand and we will unmute you for you to be able to ask your question. Or if you just have a general comment, please feel free to do that as well. If you would like to just put it in the chat, we can read it out and answer your question at that point. But I too want to thank everyone, thank all the affiliates, thank all the raters, North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, thank everyone here at Advanced Energy for all your hard work for over the past year. With everything that we've gone through, we have kept everything moving excellently. So here is Tim Pierce has a question. Due to the tremendous rise in building costs, what is the cost difference between 100 units and the ones Mr. Pascal is advertising? And I apologize, sure, David, if I said your name wrong.
No problem. I've had it for 44 years. I'm used to it. Tim, thank you. Great question. Building costs has definitely been going up. Good thing about Mitsubishi products is we have averted having to do price increases for a number of years now. So upfront cost compared to traditional systems will be 5 to 10% higher. Your savings cost is recouped in the first 2 to 3 years from energy savings, and then you're on you're past your break even at that. What you'll find, so I mentioned in my presentation that the average home in America has 7 rooms, and we are in 2.5 of them. And so that means we're heating and cooling the entire home right now at full capacity, and that's wasteful. When you go with our products, you're going to end up utilizing less products. You're going to have less time to install. So for your installers, they're not going to have as high of a labor cost up front as well. You're going to have less duct work, and then you're going to recoup on your energy savings. I hope that answered your question, Tim. If you can just type me a yes or a no or whatever you need, I'll be okay there. Yes, perfect. All right. Michael.
Yeah, I don't want to jump in line, but on that same vein with cost of systems, one of the things, a lot of the folks that are moving into these SystemVision homes, it's their first home. They've never had to do their own HVAC maintenance. They've never had to call and schedule that. Can you elaborate a little bit on the difference between, or if there's additional maintenance with mini splits over your traditional heat pumps?
Sure. So on a traditional HVAC system, I would love it. So if this was an actual class, if I was sitting here with you guys, I'd say raise your hand if you walk around your house cleaning off those grates that are all around your house right now, your grills, right? Raise your hand if you change your filters out on your own every 3 months, right? Most of us at this time are falling behind on that unless you're somebody who's up to speed on that kind of thing. We'll usually let them go about 9 months. What you'll find with the Mitsubishi products is first off, you're not going to have grills all around your house unless you did a ducted system. And then even if you did our ducted system, it's a less ducted system, and the filters are easy to remove, replace, wash. Now, if you're using our wall mounts, that is a game changer, because our wall mounts you pop open the front cover, you pull out these air filters, and you hand wash them. They're a hard plastic. It's a triple filter, so it's a standard filter, anti-allergen, and an anti-enzyme filter. So anybody who has allergies and such, this is a big thing for you. You take this out and you wash it in your sink, soap and water, and you put it back in there. And we tell people every 3 months, but we also say it's by eye, because you should be able to look at these filters and see when they're accumulating. When the electrostatic has pulled in enough dust and debris, that's a good time to wash it. Now, last thing I say about that, when you install the wall mounts, there's a 3-inch knockout behind these wall mounts. If you don't seal that knockout completely, then debris gets on the motor, but nothing on your filter. Your filter will look clear and clean, but there will be almost mud compacted on your system, because it's the pressure we talked about earlier is sucking air from inside the wall into the back of that motor, right? So we got to make sure we do that part right. But if we've installed these systems correctly, you're washing your filters every 3 months to 6 months, and you're going to keep it moving. I hope that answered your question, Michael. Let me know. Got a head shake. Monthly change my air filters, somebody said. I think that's Tim still said he changes his filters monthly. Tim, you are the best of us, sir.
Okay. There's another question that we got in a little earlier. I think this one would be for you, Michael. Is it necessary to seal every penetration in a crawl space or storage area?
Yeah, so we ran into that quite a few times over the recent months. You know, the envelope that you're looking at, you know, the crawl space, yes, it's ideal, it's best practice to seal everything that's coming through the floor into the crawl space, especially on your vertical walls as well. You know, if you're in that crawl space, you pull that crawl space door behind you and you can see light coming through any of the framing, then you definitely want to seal that. You know, putting the insulation in those bays is not going to be enough typically. But, you know, storage, as long as you're sealing the outside of the envelope. So if you've got a storage room attached, sealing the exterior walls that are uninsulated of that storage room is not as necessary. You know, if you're having trouble hitting your numbers, and again, you're seeing light coming through that may be coming through that storage room and through that storage room wall where it's adjacent to the conditioned space, but typically you're just throwing good material after bad. And with the material costs the way they are, you know, you just want to make sure and get everything along that envelope. Make sure that you're getting there first.
Okay. There's a question here from Rodney. Is SystemVision going to help get us into solar power? We need help with design. We have tried on our own and it's too cost prohibitive. That sharing cost idea sounds helpful. Rodney, Advanced Energy, in collaboration with a few other organizations, we've started a feasibility study, or we're looking at starting a feasibility study to see if we can get the cost sustainable cost for this. Orange County Habitat for Humanity right now is putting solar panels on SystemVision homes, and so they're a part of that, and more to come. So we can figure out a way to make sure the cost is sustainable. across all habitats or all affordable housing. We'll get some information out on that. Also, our next SystemVision standards, will come out in the next 3 or 4 years, and we also like to look ahead and try and implement new things. So as we get through this feasibility study, there's other things that impact with affordable housing. The homeowner, what they can afford, since they are affordable homeowners, low-income homeowners on most. So again, we're looking at that, and we should have some more information as we continue down that road. So Rodney, I hope I answered your question. If you can give me a thumbs up or a yes for that. All right. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? There's one other question that came in a bit earlier, and I guess this is directed to Advanced Energy and SystemVision. When will inspections be back to in-person inspections? Michael, I think that's for you.
Yeah, I can field that. So actually, as of this week, I've started in-person rough and framing inspections again. And I appreciate all of the flexibility that all of the affiliates that we work with on those inspections. I know throughout the state, different raters had different processes. And again, thank you all for pulling together and communicating with each other to make sure any of those pivots worked well for each of you. But I am currently conducting in-person inspections. So please, as I'm in the field more, I'm going to be less apt to be able to respond. Lisa showed our small team. It's the two of us. So please continue to request inspections through the inbox. If you've got a question that needs immediate response, feel free to text me. But if I'm in the middle of an inspection, I want to give everybody their time, focus while I'm on site. So I try not to change direction, because that can lead me to missing something in one of your homes. And don't use that against me. I don't want to put that out there so that you start texting me while I'm in an inspection. But so I'm currently doing in-person inspections. The virtual inspections, they were great. If that's something that, it's something that I think put it through its paces. We're willing to do it on occasion. If it's something that you want to call me and say, hey, can you inspect this real quick with me? Feel free. And I'll try to get something on the calendar where we can walk through. We had a detail from one of our supers the other day who was trying to figure out the best way to foam and get insulation in a narrow portion of a rim. And we were able to communicate back and forth virtually, without me having to stop, drive over there, make my recommendations, and then leave. So, we've uncovered there are some strengths to being able to do a virtual quick meetup on occasion, and that's something that we can keep in the back of our minds. But yeah, I'm fully ready to get back out there and enjoying being back in the field. And I, again, thank you all and appreciate the flexibility that you showed to adapt to that new process of remote inspection.
All right, thank you, Michael. And again, if you want to raise your hand and come off mute and ask your question, that's still an option. It looks like we have gotten through all of our questions in the chat. I'll give you guys a moment just in case someone may be typing something up, if there's any other questions or comments. Okay, well, it looks like at this point, we will end our training a little early. We will be sharing again by email participant survey. So if you could take a few minutes to complete that and help us improve. Oh, wait a minute here. Okay, there's a thank you. Thank you for attending. So we're grateful that you chose to take the time out of your day to join us for this training. Thank you, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day. And we'll give you back about an hour to do something else. Thank you all.